Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm getting ready for the day using the new Natasha Denona Glam palette. I finally unboxed her this morning, so this is the first time I've ever played around with it. I'm going to share live swatches, my thoughts at the very end, and of course you'll be able to see how I completed today's look. But if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. This is our pink sparkly bubble on YouTube, where we talk about luxury beauty, fragrance, fashion, everything glam. So if that sounds like you, join our community by subscribing and don't forget to hit the notification bell. I'm starting with eyes today, so first I'm applying the Wander Beauty Baggage Claim Gold Eye Masks. They prep the skin, they feel nice and cooling, but the best part is they are huge. So they cover the entire surface area underneath the eye. It's gonna act as a shadow shield, so it will catch anything that would ordinarily fall on my cheek. They contain aloe leaf extract, calendula extract, camu camu extract, hyaluronic acid. Leave it on 10 to 15 minutes while I'm applying eyeshadow, and then you discard. I'm priming my eyelids with just a tiny bit of this Chanel corrector. This is going to help even out any redness. It has the perfect consistency for eyeshadow. And it acts as a really nice base. It's one less product I have to pull out because I'm going to use that underneath my eye as well. And here she is, the star of the show, Natasha Denona Glam palette. As soon as I saw photos of this online, I thought, yep, I have to have it. It just looks so beautiful. I love this kind of mirrored gray packaging. It looks very sleek. Open her up. I feel a bit late to the game here because we had plans over Labor Day weekend, so this is the first time I've had a chance to sit down and open up this palette. I did watch a couple reviews and I heard so many people say, it's cool toned, look at this beautiful cool toned palette, that when I opened it up the first time just a moment ago, I almost thought to myself, you know what? It doesn't look that cool to me. It looks very neutral. I guess I was expecting it to be all gray, silver, super smoky, icy cold. You have a lot of really pretty browns. All I'm saying is I don't think it's overly cool toned, so if that bothered you, if that was off-putting to you, it might be worth visiting. I think you have a lot more variety than you might think. Particularly if you look at this bottom quadrant right here, these four shadows, I'd say they're more neutral. Of course, when you compare it to the bronze palette that came out over the summer, which really has a lot of copper, it looks extremely cool. It's so sophisticated. I love these tones. And I am not drawn to cool tone shadows. I just don't find them to be incredibly flattering. Not for me. Anytime I've worn cool tone eyeshadow, I like it. Even if I love my makeup, I know it's not the best it could be because those aren't the colors that really work well for me and my style. So in my very limited experience playing with her eyeshadows, I have to say her formulas are incredible. They swatch beautifully on the arm, but I don't want anybody to get seduced by arm swatches. If these tones are not your favorite, you're never gonna use it and this palette is not right for you. So look past the creaminess and make sure this is the type of palette that you're really going to get a lot of use out of. As a warm eyeshadow lover who has found herself completely obsessed with this palette, that's just me playing devil's advocate. I know how easy it is to get swept up in the hype and then feel let down or kind of disappointed later on. I'm not sure that's going to be the case with this one. Another detail I love about this palette, instead of shade names, she's given us locations like center eyelid, outer eyelid, inner corner, blend, lash line. I think that's really convenient. I've always loved that about Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow palettes, how she has an easy system. That way if you pull out a palette like this with 15 different eyeshadows, if you start to feel overwhelmed, you can use that to give you a little direction. The first eyeshadow I'm going to play with today with my fluffy brush is this blend shade right here. This is going in the crease. I'm concentrating outside and then slowly working the color in. Now with the smaller, more precise fluffy brush, I'm picking up the smoke shade. This is going in the outer V outer crease. I'm not a huge fan of silver eyeshadow, and there are a couple shades in here that lean a little bit silver, like this center eyelid shade right here. I will probably never use that. Maybe every once in a while. This shade right here is okay. It's maybe a little bit too silvery for me. So right now I'm going into this inner corner shade right here. This is more of a champagne. With my flat brush, I'm picking that up, and that's going on the inner lid. It looks a little silvery, but it's not quite silver. It's not a true gray silver, so I think it works. With another flat shader brush, I'm picking up this shade Outer Lid down here at the bottom, and this is going, you guessed it, on the outer lid. That shade would look really pretty all over the lid if you were doing a smoky eye. It's very pretty. It's coming together nicely. I think this could be a nice stopping point. If I just blended out the crease a little bit more, I could move on from the eyes. I want to build up a little bit more dimension, so I'm going back with my little Precise Fluffy. And now I'm going to pick up this shade in the middle, Lash Line. It's the darkest shade in the palette, so hopefully that will be deep enough. This I'm concentrating in the outer V, and that's it. I just wiped off my little fluffy brush, and now I'm going back into Smoke, and I'm going to use this as a transition between the really dark lash line shade and the crease. And with my original fluffy brush, I'm just blending out the crease. The top of the eyes are now done, so we can take off our little shadow shields. Ooh, the skin feels so nice. I'm just going to use that extra serum to kind of clean up the under eye. I don't really have much fallout, just a little bit right here. Moving on now to the face, today I'm going in with the new Clé de Peau Radiant Fluid Foundation Matte. Even though it's in a glass bottle, you have to give it a nice shake. I use the shade B30, so I'm just going to pump that on the back of my hand. I did a full review over the weekend. I'll link it down below in case you'd like to check it out, but I love this foundation. It looks so beautiful, but it has treatment in it, hence the higher price point. But man, does it look so nice. I'm also going to mix in a pump of the Le Beige Sheer Healthy Glow Highlighting Fluid. This is the shade Pearly Glow. I hadn't tried this foundation with a liquid illuminator yet. I think it looks really nice. And of course the Chanel is very subtle, so it's kind of the perfect mixing medium. You can see there's a little more reflection going on, even though it's a matte finish. No matter what, I have to add a little bit of the Sisley Eye Contour Mask. I've only used the Clé de Peau Radiant Corrector so far, so I'm going in with the Chanel Corrector, just to change it up. It looks really nice up close. It's hard to go wrong with the Sisley Eye Contour Mask. That truly is the common denominator. If I don't use it, doesn't matter what product I use, it looks terrible. Drier than the Sahara. Today I pulled out the By Terry Hyaluronic Pressed Hydra Powder. I've only used this once, so I figured why not? I need to keep testing it out. I do really like it though. It's so light, I can barely see it. You can see it a little bit. It almost gives a soft focus glow to the skin. It's really pretty. I'm in a strange place with my skin at the moment. Kind of somewhere in the middle. I still have to set my concealer or else it will crease, but I don't want to use too much powder because then it looks really dry and crepey. So what do? A powder with hyaluronic acid certainly helps, but it's just so tricky. I'm looking so close up and I don't see any little dust particles. It just kind of looks matte. Very soft. To bronze, I'm going in with one of my favorites. It's the Gucci bronzer. I have the shade 03. I don't have any new blushes and I'm trying to think if I've ever used this on camera before. I think I've used it maybe once off camera. This is the California blush from Benefit. Looks really pretty. It's kind of a golden pink. So I figured I would use this today. Oh, I cannot see in that mirror. that was going to end in tears. It's teeny tiny. Okay. Really pretty. What has that sheen to it? I don't know if it's the blush or the liquid illuminator, but something's giving me a nice glow. And I don't have any highlighter on. Oh yeah, I think it's the blush. That's really pretty. Alright, it's time to finish the eyes. I'm sitting here looking at my glam palette, trying to figure out what to do next. Part of me wants to play around with as many of these eyeshadows as possible, so I picked up my little pencil brush. I think I'm going to begin by going into this crease shade right here, and I'm going to buff that beneath the lower lash line. But I'm not going to stop there. This is just the beginning. I could stop here. I probably should stop here, but I want to keep experimenting. So I picked up this little precision brush and I'm going into this shade here, Outer Eyelid. It looks so sparkly and pretty. Very carefully, I'm going to apply this beneath the lower lash line, as close to the lash line as possible. I love that color. It's very pretty. I just wiped off my little precision brush. I'm going into this center eyelid shade right here. This is going in the inner corner of the eye. I just filled in my eyebrows quickly off camera so I could come back and highlight the brow bone. I want to keep the brow bone highlight flat. I don't want to use anything shimmery or metallic. And when I look in this palette, at first I was tempted to try this one, right here, transition, but I think it's going to be a lot darker than I expect. Seems like it might look too gray. I don't know, should we try it? It's pretty gray, it's pretty dark. You know what, I'm gonna try it. So I wiped off my little flat brush. I'm going to pick up a teeny tiny bit and see what happens. Hopefully this doesn't ruin the entire look. This could go from soft glam to Halloween really quickly. No, it's okay. It's not terrible. It's not pretty, you know, it's not ideal. I'm gonna line my top lash line with this black liquid eyeliner, and then to keep the look more on the neutral side, because I don't want it to get too cool, I'm gonna go in the waterline with this brown gel eyeliner. This is also One Size Beauty. It's the Point Made in the shade Busty Brown. I like the brown eyeliner. It's something other than black. It's a little bit softer. Not much, it's a pretty dark brown. You can't really tell. You would have to be so close in order to see. The eyes are coming together. One last step is mascara. I think the look needs some drama, so I'm going in with the NARS Climax Extreme Mascara. This mascara is so dramatic, but you have to be prepared to brush through them or else it becomes so clumpy. Got a little bit messy, but just wait for it to dry and then you can just kind of flick off any little pieces. I didn't even dip my wand back into the tube for more product, and look at this lash. I did both lashes without going back for more. Pretty crazy. I actually think it turned out better on this side because there was so much product on the wand. This mascara is dangerous. So dramatic and beautiful though. As long as you brush through your lashes, you're fine. Last up is lips. I think nude would look best, but I want to take a break from Timeless Beige. I've been wearing that lipstick every day for the past probably week and a half, maybe longer. So I pulled out Chic Beige. This was very light when I first tried it on, but I'm going to go in first with this Laura Mercier Rosewood Lip Liner. So this will add some color. That's much better. I think it looks really nice with the lip liner. By itself, it's just a smidge too light. One last step. I was sitting here looking at my complexion, looking in the mirror, looking in the viewfinder, trying to figure out what I did not like about the look. Because the makeup is pretty. I like the eyes, I like the lipstick, I like everything going on in the face, but the complete picture just wasn't doing it for me. And I think it's because I didn't apply highlighter, because usually I apply highlighter down the center of my nose, the ball of my nose, and my chin. I never really notice at the time or appreciate it, but it helps to shape my nose. It's not that I'm contouring because I'm just adding a little highlight, but it's more of a strobing effect where it kind of lifts and draws attention to specific places. So I am gonna go in with the highlight. I pulled out my Pillow Talk Beauty Light Wand because I want to keep it pretty soft. I know some people don't care for highlighting the tip of the nose, but I think it looks so cute. I never skip that step. Now I'm done, so I'm going to quickly spray my face with the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist. This is just going to help set the makeup. My makeup for the day is now complete. I counted and it looks like I used 8 out of 15 eyeshadows in this Glam palette. Not bad for playing around with it for the first time. And overall, I really like the look. I think it's kind of the perfect soft smoky. That's really what I'm going to use this palette for. I can't really see myself taking this out on a daily basis simply because I like warm tones. That's just me. I will probably use this for evening looks, special occasion looks, definitely smoky eyes. I think I'm going to need places to go pretty soon in order to get a lot of use out of this palette. But it is really nice and it's neutral, you know, you don't have any crazy pops of color. You know, there's not that one shade that you think, ooh, I'm not sure how often I'm going to use that. The only 2 shades in here I don't think I'll get a lot of use out of are these 2 silvers, and that's just my personal preference. I don't like to use a lot of silver. I prefer gold. Like this shade right here, this little champagne shade. This shade says brow bone. I think that's kind of dark to use for the brow bone. I think it's too dark for me, and I wanted to keep it pretty matte today. But I do like that she included that in there. When I look at this palette, I think of the perfect smoky eye. So if you don't wear a lot of smoky eyes, I'm not sure you'll get a lot of use out of this. If you love cool tones, I guess you will really like this. And it's not that it's not wearable, because there are a lot of light shades in here. I don't know what it is about it. The only thing it's missing is a really pretty pale shade that's matte. This one's a little bit too gray. If they had something more like this, but flat matte, I think it would be perfect. And I think it's missing a black eyeshadow. I do think the lash line color is really dark, so it gives you plenty of dimension. But wouldn't that have been perfect? They're all really creamy, they blend really nicely. I don't think you are going to struggle with this palette. Even if you are a novice at makeup, if this was the first palette you ever picked up, you kind of know what to do. And not just because the names have locations, it's just pretty simple. She basically deconstructed the smoky eye 3 or 4 different ways and then organized this palette in a user-friendly fashion. Overall, I really love this eyeshadow palette. In fact, I think it might be my favorite of the 3, which is kind of crazy because these are not my colors. But I don't think it's that cool. I think the packaging is cool. I think it's really cool when you compare it to the bronze. But I don't know, my eyes kind of go towards these shades right here. And I just think they're kind of the perfect neutrals. This is the type of palette that I think you can get a lot of use out of. I probably won't use it every day, but maybe I'll try. The sad thing is I don't really use my bronze palette. I don't really use my Love palette anymore. So even though I think this is probably not going to be a daily use palette, it's more of an evening smoky eye palette, I will probably get more use out of this. If I got any use out of this, I'd be getting more use out of it. I'm gonna do my best to be really picky moving forward. Prior to this year, I didn't own any large eyeshadow palettes. I think I had 2. Not a lot of palettes like this. My favorite large eyeshadow palette that I did pick up this year is the Pillow Talk. I use this just about every single day. Even on days that I say I'm gonna use something else, I just incorporate other products, but then I still pick this up. So these are really my colors, and I don't really play with the pinks. I play right in this area. This is the perfect deep brown for giving you depth and dimension. I think this palette is just perfect. I'm so surprised that I have not hit pan on any of these yet. So I guess if I'm comparing, the colors look a little bit more similar to this. This is so red, I don't know. It looks very different from this. I just like my warms. This is my everyday palette. This is going to be my evening special event extra glam makeup palette moving forward. And these, I just need to find some way to incorporate them into my makeup routine. They're both beautiful. I pull them out occasionally. Not as much as I would like for $65 each, but I will say of the 3, the Glam palette is pretty amazing. And that's really the only new product I tested out today. The foundation is still relatively new, but I do have a full review, which I will link. Everything else you've probably seen before. So that completes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned, everything on my face down in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.